So, superhero movies are all the rage, and so are sequels. And what we have here is a sequel to a, not pun intended, smaller MCU movie, and one that really doesn't have a lot of weight compared to the last couple of movies we have. And what I'm talking about is the one that's in the theaters right now, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place 2 years after Captain America's Civil War. And, well, I'll get into this a little bit later. So if you didn't see Civil War, spoiler. Ant-Man gets in trouble because he fought with Captain America's side, which is a direct violation of the Sokovia contract, which he never signed, but whatever. So he got captured in that movie. Now he's having a probation, which is 2 years. The timeline is a little bit weird, but whatever, we'll keep moving. Especially if you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, and it says Spider-Man Homecoming takes place 6 years after Civil War, but he's in Infinity War, and Ant-Man is only sentenced for 2 years probation. But this takes place before Infinity. Anyway, let's try not to think of it. So, Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, is at home and he has to stay there for 2 years. He gave himself in because of the fact that he didn't want to go to jail, so he can be with his, at least have, home time with his daughter Cassidy. Hank Pym and Hope are both on the run because that's their technology, the Ant-Man suit. So they automatically got put as guilty for supposedly aiding Ant-Man. And he has his own business called X-Con with Michael Peña's character and his two returning friends from the first Ant-Man movie. We find out that there's a way to get Jane Van Dyke, who is Hank Pym's wife, back from the quantum realm. We need Ant-Man. Wasp is coming, and this movie's alright. Is it disappointing? No. I find this on the same level as the first Ant-Man, and I didn't really like that one too much. I thought it was fine. It's another one of those movies where you go, alright, there's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing terrible about it, but at the same time, there's really nothing extraordinary about it. There's nothing that in this movie jumps out at you. I don't think it's particularly funny. It's not the Guardians movie. It's not even Spider-Man Homecoming. Hell, I think I laughed more in Infinity War than I did in this movie. And I don't know, it just feels average. In all honesty, I didn't even want to watch this movie. But yeah, the first movie was a heist movie. This one is more of a keep-away movie because the whole thing is Hank Pym is created. He has his own laboratory that he literally carries around with him because he can make it turn big and small. And our main villain is a character named Ghost, who wants it because it can help her out because she's suffering through certain things. This movie's way overstuffed with way too much plot that never gets anything, delved right into. And it also never really, because there's so many problems going on, I don't feel like there's any either emotional weight or you go like, oh, I remember that guy, he's doing this thing, he's doing that person's doing that thing. let's go straight up with the good then. Paul Rudd returning as Scott Lang, the Ant-Man. He's good in this movie. He, much like the first one, he is really good. He has the comedic chops down packed. There's an extended scene where he is being taken over by Janet Van Dyke, Hank Pym's wife who's stuck in the quantum realm. That is really good, and he acts the hell out of it. So I give him a lot of credit for that. At the same time, we have the Wasp, played by Evangeline Lilly, and she's really good, and I liked what she did in this movie a lot. Like, her character was kind of cool. She got to do more, but at the same time, in this movie, she kind of felt subdued. At certain points, they took her out of the movie, and it was like, oh, I kind of wanted her. And this movie also reminded me that she had a terrible wig in the first movie. As far as the other cast members, I think Ghost was underutilized. Supposedly the main villain. Walter Goggins' Walter Goggins is in this movie. This is the third movie he's been underused in this year. He was in Maze Runner earlier in January, and he was in Tomb Raider where he was just like, whatever. In this movie he plays a gangster called Sonny Birch, and yeah, he's severely underused. Like, how can you get him wrong? He literally plays a villain who has an object that Ant-Man and the Wasp need, and there's really no reason for him to A, have it, or B, for him to be following them throughout the whole movie. I mean, I like Walter Goggins a lot, but damn, that character didn't need to exist in this movie. Then you have Laurence Fishburne's character, who plays another former colleague of Hank Pym, who he's in the movie because he has a relationship with Ghost, and he hates Hank. But at the same time, it was really a lot of like, oh, I'm doing this because of this, and then he kind of like fades out of the movie at times. I will say this: whoever the actress who played Cassidy, Scott Lang's daughter, she's absolutely adorable in it. Anytime she says something, or anytime she has to act in the movie, it seems authentic, and she's really on point. And yeah, the action sequences were shot really well, I have to say this time. There are a couple of very good moments, either between the fight scenes or the scene in the San Francisco Bay where Ant-Man turns huge, which is pretty cool. But there's also the other subplot with the cops, I guess they are, or whatever agents they are, who are constantly checking in on Paul Rudd's character to make sure that he stays in the house. So let's count this up. We have Ghost, supposedly the main villain. We have Walton Goggins' character, who is the science dealer who is angry, and he wants a cut of Hank Pym's whatever the hell he's doing. And then we have the police, who are like, oh, Paul Rudd, we know you're gonna trip up. Don't talk to these people. Don't talk to these people, or you're gonna spend 20 years in jail and you're not gonna see your daughter anymore. Alright, here's the part where it's gonna get a little bit more negative. There's way too much plot. and not enough. There's way too many characters in this movie. You have 3 supposed main villains. No one gets enough time to shine, and that's kind of disappointing. The CGI. There are 3 scenes in the movie where you have to make Michael Douglas look younger, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Laurence Fishburne. Michael Douglas at the beginning is kind of believable. The other 2, they look, I want to say, Rogue One level of bad, of Tarkin and Carrie Fisher. That's how bad they look. There are also 2 flashbacks to the first Ant-Man movie, where it was like, we saw that movie, why are you wasting 5 minutes each time to retell us something from the first movie? That was kind of infuriating, and it felt like padding onto this movie that's only about an hour and 50 minutes. That was very unnecessary. Also, holy cow, there's a scene where the heroes are captured, and it's literally 8 minutes of exposition dump. That's really all it is. It's, oh, this is why I'm here. Oh wait, this person over here, this is why they're here. And then keep talking. And it felt just like padding. The Michael Peña. I am not a fan of Michael Peña whatsoever. So, him in this movie, he was hit and miss. They did the same thing from the first Ant-Man, where he was explaining what's going on to certain characters, and you would see that character, but you would hear his voice. Like, you would have Paul Rudd talking, or you would have Paul Rudd in the scene visually, but you would hear Michael Peña's voice explaining this, and then you would see Paul Rudd acting to Michael Peña's voice. They did it with Evangeline Lilly, which was actually pretty funny too as well. And the comedy's not as strong. I didn't laugh consistently. There's a lot of jokes where I was like, oh, I get that's a joke, but I didn't really laugh. So the comedy never really hit at times. But after that, it's an okay movie. Listen, if you're a Marvel MCU fan, you're gonna watch this movie regardless. If you're someone like me who just watches the ones that they want to see about their about the characters they like, you won't hate it, but you'll just be like, all right, whatever. This isn't terrible. This isn't a complete waste of time. I like this better than I did Captain America: Civil War, even though Captain America: Civil War had probably the best Ant-Man I like. He was better in that movie than I think in both of his 2 movies, but then again, maybe it was because he was, 1, dealing with everyone else who was serious, and 2, he wasn't in the movie that much. But this is an enjoyable movie. It's perfectly fine. It's fine. You're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna walk out of it hating it. You'll go, alright, that wasn't terrible. It has problems. But, you know, the characters are strong enough. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd really can hold the movie. I really like Evangeline Lilly. I'll get that name right. And yeah, it worked enough on its cleverness that it was fine. It was perfectly fine. I give this movie a 6. This is a non-spoiler review, so let me say this right out the way. There are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie. The first one is the important one. The second one you do not need to see. Matter of fact, if you saw the trailer, you've already seen the post-credit, the second post-credit scene. So, and it was just like, oh, it's probably one of the worst ones, but then again, I haven't seen many Marvel movies. But yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would like to say everyone has seen it, but I have seen the box office numbers. And while I saw it today on a Friday, its second week in release, and my theater was packed. It was a smaller theater, and I saw it opening Saturday, and there were a lot of empty seats in the theaters. So, did you see Ant-Man and the Wasp? What did you think? Let me know. Comment, subscribe, and I will be back with another review about a horror movie. So, until then, bye.